Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So here I am with the second part of fifth chapter, complex numbers and quadratic equations of class 11th. So we will start with the introduction of complex numbers, followed by conjugate of complex numbers, then addition and multiplication of complex numbers. After that, we will be having examples based on these topics, and at last we will be having a pop quiz like always. Let's have a recap of what all topics I have covered in the last video of this chapter. So there we are having number system, introduction of iota and integral powers of iota. In case if you have missed that video, please refer the link from the description box. So let's begin with the introduction of complex numbers. So what are the complex numbers? If we are having a and b, two real numbers, then any number of the form a plus ib is known as a complex number. Means any number which is involving iota a plus ib is known as a complex number. Here we are having few examples like 7 plus 2i, 3 minus 2i. Like this, you can have many more complex numbers. And a general complex number we denote by z. Z is equals to a plus ib. This is a general complex number. And here you can see we are having two parts of this complex number, or we can say two terms in this complex number. So the term which is free from iota is known as the real part of complex number z, and we denote it like re of z symbolically, which is a. And the term which is involving iota is known as the imaginary part of the complex number z, and we write it like im of z, which is b. Let's have an example to make it more clear. If a complex number z is equals to 3 minus 4i, then 3 is the real part of this complex number. So we will write it like re of z is equals to 3, and its imaginary part is minus 4. So im of z is minus 4 here for this complex number. Now for any complex number, if we have to find out, is this a purely real complex number or a purely imaginary complex number, then what are the conditions we can have? So any complex number will be purely real if its imaginary part will be 0. Means im of z will be 0, then the complex number will be purely real. When ib is equals to 0, then you can see z is equals to a we are here having, and a is the real part of z, so it will be purely real. And in case if we are having its real part 0, then we will remain with the z is equals to ib, which is purely imaginary part. So for that, real part of z will be 0 there when any complex number will be purely imaginary. So these are the conditions for any complex number to be a purely real or to be a purely imaginary. Now, if we are having two complex numbers like z1 is equals to a1 plus ib1 and z2 is equals to a2 plus ib2, then these two complex numbers will be equal if a1 is equals to a2 and b1 is equals to b2. Means their real parts will be equal independently and their imaginary parts will be equal independently. Only then these two complex numbers will be equal. So these are the conditions for the equality of two complex numbers. Now let's find out what is a conjugate of a complex number. So if we are having a complex number z is equals to a plus ib, then conjugate of any complex number we denote by z bar, and it will be a minus ib if z is equals to a plus ib. Means here you can see only the difference we are having in the sign in between the real part and in the imaginary part for the conjugate. So the conjugate of z is equals to a plus ib will be z bar is equals to a minus ib. Let's have some examples. If we are having a complex number 3 plus 5i, then its conjugate will be z bar is equals to 3 minus 5i. Only the difference we have to maintain in for the sign in between the real part and in the imaginary part. Let's have another example. If z is equals to 2 minus 7i, then its conjugate z bar will be 2 plus 7i, right? So generally we use conjugates to write a complex number given in the form of 1 by z or z1 by z2 in the standard form a plus ib. So this is the use of conjugate of complex numbers. Now let's find out how to add two or more complex numbers. So addition of complex numbers, how we can do if we are having two complex numbers, z1 is equals to a plus ib and z2 is equals to c plus id, then z1 plus z2 we will do like a plus ib plus c plus id. Now we will write it like a plus c, the terms which are free from iota, we will write at first, and the terms involving iota, we will take I as common, and here you can see we are having a plus c plus I into b plus d. So a plus c is the real part for the addition of these two complex numbers, and b plus d is the imaginary part for the addition of these two complex numbers. Now if we have to find out the subtraction of two complex numbers, then z1 minus z2, we can have a plus ib minus c plus id. Then after subtraction, we will be having a minus c plus I into b minus d. A minus c is the real part for z1 minus z2, and b minus d is the imaginary part for z1 minus z2. Now let's find out what all additive properties we are having for complex numbers. So first one is closure law. Closure law says if we are adding two complex numbers, then the resultant number will always be a complex number. So for z1 plus z2, we are having a plus c plus I into b plus d, which is again a complex number. So you can see closure law is satisfied here for the complex numbers. Now for the commutative law, yes, for the commutative law also we are having complex numbers. If z1 plus z2, the result will be same for the z1 for the z2 plus z1. Means commutative law exists for the complex numbers too. Then associative law means if we have to add three complex numbers and we are adding any pair of complex numbers at first, then it doesn't matter. Means order doesn't matter there when we are adding three complex numbers. So here you can see if we are adding z2 and z3 at first, and then in that addition we are adding z1, the result will be same. If we are adding z1 and z2 at first, then we are adding z3 in that addition. So this is the associative law for the complex numbers. Now existence of additive identity. Additive identity for the complex number, we are having 0 plus I 0, which is basically 0 complex number. As you know, for the number system, we are having additive identity 0. So just like that, for the complex numbers, we are having 0 plus I 0, because we have to write it in the form of a plus ib. So this is the additive identity for the complex numbers. Now existence of additive inverse. If we are having a complex number z is equals to a plus ib, then minus z is equals to minus a plus I of minus b will be the additive inverse. It is just like as we are having in the number system. As you know, for 4, we are having additive inverse minus 4. For 6, we are having minus 6. Just like that, for a plus ib, we are having minus a plus I into minus b. Now, multiplication of complex number. How we can multiply two complex numbers? So, if we are having two complex numbers, z1 is equals to a plus ib and z2 is equals to c plus id. Then, for multiplication, z1 into z2, just like algebraic expressions, we are multiplying, we have to multiply these two terms. So, here we will be having AC plus IB into C and IAD and I square BD. after putting value of I square, we are having AC minus BD plus I into BC plus AD. AC minus BD is the real part of Z1, Z2, and BC plus AD is the imaginary part of Z1 into Z2. If we have to find out division of two complex numbers, then Z1 by Z2 will be A plus IB upon C plus ID. I have explained you conjugate of complex numbers. So here we will use that conjugate in order to convert this fraction of complex numbers in the form of A plus IB. So for that, we just need to multiply here with the conjugate of the denominator in both the terms, in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So conjugate of C plus ID we will be having C minus ID. So we will multiply by C minus ID in the numerator and in the denominator. Then in the next step, we will be having AC plus BD plus I into BC minus AD in the numerator, and in the denominator, we are having C square plus D square. How we got this in the denominator? We are having here C plus ID and C minus ID. So here we can apply the algebraic identity A square minus B square, which says A square minus B square is equals to A plus B into A minus B. So we are using that identity here. So this is the expression for Z1 minus Z2. Now let's find out multiplicative properties for the complex numbers. So first one is closure law. Yes, if we are multiplying two complex numbers, then the resulting number will be a complex number. Z1, Z2, as you can see here, AC minus BD plus I into BC plus AD. This is a complex number. So closure law is satisfied here for the multiplication of complex numbers. Just like that, commutative law also exists for the multiplication of complex numbers. Means order doesn't matter here. If you are multiplying Z1 with Z2 or you are multiplying Z2 with Z1, the result will be same always. And associative law, Z1 into Z2 into Z3 is equals to Z1 into Z2 into Z3. Means order doesn't matter if you are taking Z2, Z3 at first for multiplication or Z1, Z2 at first for multiplication. So this is the associative law. Existence of multiplicative identity. So first you recall what is the multiplicative identity for number system? One is the multiplicative for identity for all the numbers, for all the number system which we are having. So for the complex numbers, we will be having 1 plus I0 in the form of A plus IB, because Z into 1 will be Z. So this is the multiplicative identity here. Now, multiplicative inverse, just like number system, we can have multiplicative inverse. Just recall, for 4, multiplicative inverse we are having 1 upon 4. For 5, we can have 1 upon 5. So for any complex number Z, A plus IB, we will be having its inverse 1 upon Z, which is equals to 1 upon A plus IB, because Z into 1 by Z is equals to 1. So just like this, we will be having multiplicative inverse for any complex number. Now distributive law means if we are adding two complex numbers Z2 and Z3, and we have to multiply this sum of two complex numbers with any other complex number Z1, then it will be same if we are distributing this complex number to both the individual complex numbers, means Z1 to Z2 or Z1 to Z3. So it will be Z1 Z2 plus Z1 Z3. These both results will always be same. So this is the distributive law for complex numbers. Now let's have some examples. So first question is, express the following in the form of A plus IB. First one is minus 7i into 5i by 8. So let's solve first one. Minus 7i into 5i by 8. So at first we will write all the numerals here. Minus of 7 into 5 by 8, and I will get multiplied with this I. So it will give us here I square. So in the next step, we will be having minus 35 by 8 into value of I square is minus 1. So minus into minus will be plus. So at last we are having 35 by 8. as we have to represent it in the form of a plus ib. As you can see here, we are not having any term which is involving iota, means this is purely real imaginary number, purely real complex number. So we are writing it like 35 by 8 plus I0 in order to denote it like a plus ib, right? So this is the answer. Our second question is 5 minus 3i whole cube. So here we will use algebraic identity a minus b whole cube. With the help of that, we will open this term. So we will be having 5 cube minus 3 into 5 square into 3i plus 3 into 5 into 3i whole square minus 3i whole cube. After solving, in the next step, we will be having 125 minus 225i plus 135. After putting the value of I square, it will be minus 135. Now, after solving this term, we are having plus 27i. So the final result, we are having minus 10 minus 198i. This is the complex number in the form of a plus ib for this given question. Let's have another example. Find the multiplicative inverse of 3 plus 2i. So multiplicative inverse will be 1 upon z for this complex number, means 1 upon 3 plus 2i. I have explained you that in order to write it in the form of a plus ib, we need to use here conjugate. So conjugate of 3 plus 2i will be 3 minus 2i. So we will multiply by the term 3 minus 2i in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So here, with the help of algebraic identity a square minus b square, we will be having 3 minus 2i upon 9 minus 4i square. So it will give us 3 upon 13 minus 2 upon 13i. Because after solving this term, we are having 13 in the denominator. So this is the multiplicative inverse of 3 plus 2i. Now get ready for the pop quiz. First question is, find the multiplicative inverse of minus I. Yes, this is very simple. Multiplicative inverse of minus I. So answer is I. Let's have another question. Express in the form of a plus ib. The question is I raised to the power minus 35. Yes, you have to express this term in the form of a plus ib. Very simple question. So its answer is, again, I is the answer for this question. Let's have another question. If 5x plus I into 5x minus 2y is equals to 10 plus I into minus 6, then find the values of x and y. Yes, it's again a very simple question. I hope you can do it. So the answer is x is equals to 2 and y is equals to 8. Just you had to compare here real parts and the imaginary parts. Now let's have last question. Express 1 plus I whole square upon 3 minus I in the standard form a plus ib. Yes. So the answer is minus 1 upon 5 plus 3 upon 5i. Here you had to do just, you have to use here conjugate of 3 minus I, multiply with that in the numerator and in the denominator. Then you will be able to change it in the form of a plus ib. So thanks to all of you. See you soon in the next part of this chapter. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.